Hello, Mark here, and I'm wondering how many of you out there wish there were more hours in the day. More hours in the day to fit everything in, like your family, your business, your hobbies, the extra things you want to do, the free time that you want to create. How amazing would that be? Absolutely. I'm guessing that there's a few people out there. Now, there's only so many hours, and you have the same amount of hours as Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or any of these other people, Warren Buffett out there. You have the same amount of hours as them. So I don't believe in time management, because how do you manage time? Time is time. What I look to do is create time, create slots and chunks of time where I can fit certain things in. Now, one of the things that I've done, and it's worked really well, is give everything I'm doing a start and an end date. Because once I've done that, now I've created a time frame. Now I've got a time frame, I can fit it somewhere into a calendar. I can chunk that space out. So what this has helped me overcome is procrastinating. Because now I have to commit, and it works for everything. I'll give you even like reading a book. So before this year, I probably read about 6 books my entire life. And some of those were like half-read books or books that I'd read over the course of a year. And it's just crazy. So what I've started doing at the start of this year is I was able to put a start date and an end date. So I just worked out how many pages I want to read a day. And then from there, I would say, well, based on this size book, it's going to take me this many days. So that's it. I've chunked the time frame, and now I'm committed to it. And now I'm going to be disciplined. And the reason I want to use this as an example, because it seems something like it's a little bit unimportant. Does it matter if I go a few days over? So yes, it does. And I'll tell you why. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you can't stick to a start date and an end date on the course of reading a book, how are you going to do it when it comes to a bigger project, a more important thing in your life? So what I'm saying is, make sure that number one, you have this kind of framework. So start date, end date, chunk it out and fit it into your diary so you know you can deliver that piece, and then just commit to it, dig your heels in and make sure that it happens. We can focus on the result and make it happen, or we can give reasons, but you can't have both. You either have results or you have reasons. So you get to choose, but you can't have both. So, anything that you do, start date, end date, chunk it in, and you'll see the results soar, because you can't kid yourself. If you say, I am going to do this one day, this is going to happen, or I'm going to look into starting this, or I'm going to start looking at that, like, where does it begin and where does it end? And I'm not saying things are ever finished, but like, break it down and say, well, this small little piece of the goal is going to happen over the next course of this week, and I'm going to put 3 hours in across, whatever days. And as long as you do that, now there is no kidding yourself, because now you've got time frames and now you've chunked it out. Now it's obvious if you're coming up with reasons and excuses, where before it wasn't always that obvious, because you could have just said, well, I said I'm going to do that. Yeah, right. It's going to happen this week, that week, that week. That never comes, never happens. And if you start it, you don't finish it, because everyone's so like enthusiastic in the beginning. How many of you, like, you start something new or you go to a new place and you're all enthusiastic, but that soon dies down. You've got to keep that enthusiasm going by making it a game. It's almost like a countdown timer. Now, if this is a small little thing and I just want to give myself a goal to finish a book, and I want to finish it within 5 days, let's say, then that's like a countdown timer. I've got to get to my little milestone every day. So by having that start date and end date, it just brings everything clear to clarity. So I'd love to hear any other feedback or any tips or tricks that you guys have, and I'll see you again soon.